Although most humans rarely grow beyond 6 feet, there are some who stand taller than the rest. These towering individuals often defy expectations, making giants seem like a reality rather than a myth. Records of people with soaring heights have been around for quite some time and continue to amaze us today. With billions of people inhabiting Earth, it can be quite hard to stand out, unless you're more than 8 feet tall and looking down on everyone else. Being tall can have its own set of pros and cons, and those who are especially tall need to be prepared to face both. Come along on our journey as we explore 7 of the world's awe-inspiring giants who are still alive today. Number 7. Igor Vovkovinsky. Igor Vovkovinsky, also known as Igor Landin, was a Ukrainian-American law student and actor. He was born in September of 1982 in Ukraine and also bagged the world record for being the tallest living person in the United States at 7 foot 8.33 inches tall. He is originally from the Ukraine and moved to Rochester, Minnesota in 1989 to receive treatment at the Mayo Clinic. Back then, he was at least 6 feet tall. He also acted in a few films and commercials, such as the comedy Hall Pass, rising to fame when pictures of him wearing a T-shirt that read, "World's Biggest Obama Supporter," went viral at a Barack Obama rally. He was the first person to become the tallest living person in 2 separate countries, and also joined singers Zlata Ognevich in representing Ukraine in the Eurovision Song Contest in 2013. When he was 27 years old, he then travelled to New York and was declared America's tallest living person by a Guinness World Records adjudicator on the show. His abnormal height was attributed to a tumour pressing on his pituitary gland, which causes an increased amount of growth hormone. Igor would announce that he was undergoing treatment for a heart condition in 2019, and then passed away in 2021 after remaining hospitalized for heart disease at the age of 38. Number 6. Jo Diffin. Jo Diffin was born in 1972 to a poor family of farmers in China. She was recognized as the tallest living woman by the Guinness Book of World Records, standing at a height of 7-8 inches and weighed around 157 kilograms. Jo was recorded as the 3rd tallest woman in history, just 5 inches shorter than Xing Jinlian, the tallest woman known in history. Her extraordinary stature was caused by gigantism, a condition in which a tumour in the pituitary gland causes excessive growth hormone. She was 6 foot 11 inches tall by the age of 15. Doctors who diagnosed her condition refused to treat her, as her family was unable to afford the surgery. She was illiterate, so she then travelled around with her father performing for money. Around the year 2002, her tumour would finally be removed in a hospital in Guangdong. She appeared on the TLC cable TV network in 2009, and according to reports, she fell in her house and suffered internal bleeding, but eventually recovered. She passed away at the age of 40 due to an unknown ailment in 2012. By the time of her death, she lived in a house that she shared with her mother in a small village. Number 5. Morteza Mirzad. Morteza Mirzad was born in September of 1987 in Iran. He's an Iranian volleyball player and plays for the national sitting volleyball team and the team of Mezhar Babak. With a height of 8 foot 1 inches, Morteza is famous as the tallest living man in Iran and 2nd tallest living man in the world. He suffers from a rare medical condition called acromegaly that's triggered by excessive production of growth hormone in the pituitary gland of the brain. He was over 6 feet 2 inches tall at just the age of 16, and when he was 15, he got into a bicycle accident and suffered serious pelvic fracture. Because of this accident, his right leg would stop growing. So now it's around 15 centimeters shorter than his left. The Iran national head coach would spot his talent in 2011 after watching a television program that featured unusual and differently abled people, of which Morteza was a part. He immediately got in touch with him and convinced him to play sitting volleyball. After selection for the national team and undergoing training, he then finally made his international debut in 2016 at the Paralympics qualifiers. He was then selected for the national team and eventually went on to compete in the 2016 Summer Paralympics sitting volleyball final, in which he was the top scorer with 28 points for Iran. Morteza won the gold medal at the 2016 Summer Paralympic, and then again he won 2 gold medals and the Golden Ball for the best player in the world in 2022. Number 4. Andre the Giant. Andre Rene Roussimoff is better known by his in-ringing name, Andre the Giant. He was a French professional wrestler and famous actor for his exceptional size. Born in May of 1946, Andre suffered from gigantic that was caused by an excess production of growth hormone. He was also called the 8th wonder of the world by all of his fans and began his career in 1966, later relocating to North America in 1971. From 1973, all throughout the mid-80s, Roussimoff wrestled for promotion throughout the United States as a special attraction for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, later to be known as the WWF. During the wrestling boom of the 1980s, he became the mainstay for the company. His feud with Hulk Hogan would also help to attract public attention, especially when he defeated Hogan to win the WWF Championship in 1988. Roussimoff was a whopping 7 foot 4 inches tall, weighing in at 236 kilograms. His WWF career wound down after WrestleMania 6 in 1990. He then wrestled primarily for All Japan Pro Wrestling until his sudden death in 1993. He would become the inaugural inductee of the WWF Hall of Fame after he had died. And he also tried his luck in acting, appearing in various movies and television, which included The Princess Bride, Zorro, The Greatest American Hero, and Conan the Destroyer. In 1974, the Guinness Book of World Records would mention him as the then highest-paid wrestler in history, with an annual salary of around $400,000. He died at the age of 46 due to congestive heart failure in his sleep at a hotel in Paris, and left his estate to his sole beneficiary, his daughter, Robin Christensen. Number 3. Zainab Bibi. Bibi is from Pakistan and was the tallest woman in Pakistan with a reported height of 7 feet and 2 inches. She was named the tallest woman in the Guinness Book of World Records in 2004 and had been suffering from diabetes, hypertension, and osteoporosis for years. She was under treatment for a kidney ailment when she passed away in 2018 at the age of 46 years old. According to her relatives, her height began increasing rapidly at the age of 15, and by the time that she had reached 20, she was 7 feet 2 inches tall. She would first be noticed when popular television show host Tariq Aziz invited her to his new show in 1998. After she was declared the tallest woman by Guinness World Records, she was then invited to a number of countries, visiting 15 of them, which included France, Germany, and the UK. Zainab Bibi had mentioned her terrible financial conditions in an interview that she had given to a private news channel, and said that she was struggling to make ends meet because of her illness. She remained single until her death, as her height and medical conditions were a hurdle in her personal intimate life. Number 2. Rumi Sogelji. Rumi Sogelji was born in January of 1997, and she's currently the tallest living woman in the world. She is a Turkish advocate, researcher, and freelance front-end developer. She was homeschooled her entire life and was announced as the tallest living teenager in the world in 2014. 7 years later, in October of 2021, she was announced as the tallest woman by the Guinness World Records. The 25-year-old also holds a number of other records, which includes the longest fingers, the largest hands, and the longest back on a living woman. She is 7'71" tall. Gelgi lives in Turkey, and her abnormal height is the result of a condition called Weaver syndrome. This is a rare disease which includes rapid growth hormone production amongst other abnormalities. It actually affects men 3 times more than it does women. As a child, she had to undergo open heart surgery due to congenital heart diseases when she was just 1 year old. Rumisa uses a wheelchair to move around because of her condition, but she can walk for short periods of time with the help of a walker. She also requires a special seat in order to be able to sit down, and according to her, despite the challenges that she faces because of her height, she's grateful for being the way that she is. She also wishes to use her title to raise awareness of diseases and conditions like hers. In November of 2022, Gelgi was able to fly on a plane for the very first time in her life, thanks to the efforts of Turkish Airlines. They ended up removing 6 rows of chairs from one of their planes in order to ensure that she had a comfortable flight from Istanbul to San Francisco, and they then replaced the seats with a special stretcher just for her. Number 1. Sultan Kosun. Kosun is a Turkish farmer who was born in December of 1982 in a village in Turkey. The man holds the Guinness World Record for being the tallest man alive in the entire world. Sultan Kosun is a hopping 8'2.2" tall. He is of Kurdish ethnicity, and despite being above 8 feet tall, he's the 7th tallest man known in history. As a child, Sultan was unable to complete his studies because of his increasing height, so instead he began working as a farmer part-time. His abnormal growth was the result of a medical condition known as gigantism and acromegaly, caused by a tumor that affected his pituitary gland. Because of this condition, Sultan uses crutches to walk. According to him, being this tall allows him to see a great distance, and he can easily help his family and friends with domestic tasks, such as changing light bulbs and hanging curtain. But with pros, there are also cons, like not being able to find appropriately sized clothing, especially because his limbs are so long. He also struggles to find shoes that fit, and his hands are the longest measured in a living person at 11.2 inches. So finding gloves for him is a real challenge. It's also very obvious that he finds it difficult to fit into any average-sized car. Kosun received gamma knife treatment for his tumor and was also provided with medication to control his excessive growth hormone levels in 2012, and it was confirmed that the treatment effectively stopped his growth. He then married a Syria-born woman named Murvdibo in October of 2013, who was about 10 years younger than him, but they ended up getting divorced in 2021. That's all for today's video on 7 real-life giants that exist today. It's amazing to see people who are so tall and unique. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.